from a student's perspective who had more than 2 flight instructors, some people complain, I have to switch flight instructors up, and I'm sure there's downsides. What are some upsides to train with different people, different instructors?
Definitely the biggest upside is perspective, because just like, your original question, the similarities between music and aviation, that's probably what I get off to more than anything, but this is definitely one. But in aviation, everyone has different opinions. And so it's perspective. Definitely the biggest upside, I would say, between all of my instructors, and mind you, having multiple instructors, this wasn't by choice. This was just
how things happen.
Yeah, no, I had a ground instructor, and then when I was ready for flight training, I had a flight instructor, and then I had life things, and I took 6 months off, and then when I came back, my flight instructor had already moved on. That's when we met, and so Yoel was my primary, like in terms of definitely hour-wise, we worked together the most. And never mind, you got me through check ride and everything. So you were the most prevalent, and now you've moved on, like everything, and now I have a new one. Lily's now my instructor for instrument. But definitely the thing that is the best about that, I don't view it as a negative whatsoever. Because everyone has their different perspectives, and it makes you formulate your own opinion about like everything that's going on, and because everything has to click in your head with what you're learning. And it's not a matter of do this, and do that if this happens. Like, it's never like that. It's not a checklist. Like, you're formulating decision making, and the more perspective that you have, I think the better decision making you're going to end up with yourself. And eventually in time, maybe I'll become someone who contributes to someone else's decision making. That's how it works. And that actually I would highly advise it. I think sticking with only one person is kind of strange, because you're going to get very regimented.
So you being with multiple different instructors allowed you to see how they all do their own thing, their own way.
Well, you forget our first flight even. You'll never remember.
What do you mean?
Well, my first instructor, we were always very pattern work at Hawthorne practice area. Our first flight, somehow you recognize, okay, I know how to like take off and maneuver to a certain degree. And then you're like, take me to Long Beach. And I was like, wait.
Yeah.
I was like, can we do that? You're like, yeah, why not? And it was literally the first time I landed anywhere else than Hawthorne was our first flight.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that.
And then we went to Torrance, and I was like, okay, you're really beating this one in. And then that's when we came back, and you're like, I'm not making you a Hawthorne pilot. I'm making you a pilot.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm huge on.
And that was big. That really made an impression.
Yeah. And this for anyone out there watching, undergoing flight training, if your instructor is making you a local airport pilot out of the one you're flying out of, ask for a refund, because that's not cool.
No.
As a pilot, you should be able to learn the skills necessary to fly here, Florida, Texas, New York, Seattle, and Wyoming, all the same. And so I love that left an impression on you.
Oh, it totally did. And it was also the reason why, it was Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, this was the best case scenario. Like, I'm a new pilot and everything. This was my friend's dumb idea because he wanted to lurk and see the Super Bowl tailgating. But of course, with Super Bowl, like Los Angeles area had a TFR like none other.
A big one.
Yeah, a very big one. And it started at 2:30. And so we went early in the morning, and it was my buddy who came up with the bad idea because he just wanted to lurk. But you can only go out and come in. No pattern work or anything like that. TFR. And then my other best buddy came. He was flying backseat with Wilbur, my dog. And it was the first time Wilbur got to fly. And we went to Palm Springs for lunch. Got a crew car.
There you
that
go.
with you.
Your favorite new thing.
Yep. Had lunch real quick. Boned it back. Wheels up at 12:30 because I wanted wheels down back in Hawthorne at 1:30, 1 hour before TFR. And the whole time I was like planning everything, making sure everything was right. But the fact of the matter was that was the first time I ever landed at Palm Springs International.
Yeah.
And it was
with two people on the plane.
2 passengers and a pig.
And your dog.
Sorry, Wilbur is named Wilbur because he looks like a pig. And Charlotte's Web, you guys get it. So like, but that degree of like confidence and everything and planning
that
arose from all of that training.
Here's how I see it. All the money you paid for flight training is for that confidence. You didn't buy manipulating the flight controls. You could purchase an autopilot. The money you spent, that's from my humble, limited perspective as a flight instructor. The money people pay me is to instill these, I don't want to say make people confident, but if you ask me what I do, yeah, I'm a flight instructor, but that's all fancy. Here's what I truly do. I teach people how to think.
And with that,
that's what
with your most poignant question that started this whole thing, and going to mastering, all the money I get paid is for perspective.
There you go.
And that's why music and aviation is intertwined like none other.
Forever and ever and ever.
And why I love both.
Incredible.